everyone. So today I'm just going to go over a quick little overview of what we went through in class. So early in the week everybody wrote paragraphs about whatever topic they chose out of all those topics I gave, and I took all those paragraphs and I picked some sample ones out for us to look at, and they're ones that we're going to look at the structure, the point, the example, the explanation, the link, more so than what they're saying. You might not agree with what they're saying, but that's absolutely fine. We can still look at the paragraph and determine whether or not they have created a strong argument. So what we did was we made a legend at the top of the page here, and we made the point one color, so I'll make the point yellow. And then we made the example, which is our quote. We made that another color, so I'll make that, let me make that one pink. Oops. Make that purple, pink, whatever you want to call it. Then we're going to have explanation. Sorry, I wasn't thinking I should have done this before I started, but it's alright. Explanation is going to be blue, and then we have here the link. Alright, and I'm going to make the link green. I will post these for you, but it's going to help talking through it as well. So if we look at the first paragraph here, it says, drinking age should not be lowered because drinking at a young age can interfere with a child's development. While many young adults think it's okay, alcohol consumption can interfere with development of young adult brains' frontal lobes, essential for functions such as an emotional regulation, planning, and organization. Drinking as a young adult is or can be extremely dangerous because you could also become addicted to it. So if we look at the first one here for the point, alright, their point is here is that the drinking age should not be lowered because drinking at a young age can interfere with a child's development. This is absolutely fine. It's great. They've got everything they needed. So we'll just put a little note in here that says, point is good. All right. Next, we're going to look at the explanation of the quote. So this here is their entire quote. The concern we're running into here is that the quote is just way too long. Okay, there's not a whole lot of explanation going on. Actually, we'll get to that in a minute. There's pretty much no explanation, but the quote itself is too long. It could have been stopped right here, right after frontal lobes. All right. This last sentence here, drinking as a young adult is or can be extremely dangerous because you could also become addicted to it. We've had some discussion today about whether this is explanation or whether this is link, and I messed up. That should be purple, for example. Alright, so I look at this as they were trying to finish off what they're saying. However, the problem here is that they have brought up a whole new idea. They brought up that you can become addicted to drinking when their whole argument is about it interfering with a child's development. So the link brings up a new idea. This is not something you want to do. And there's no explanation. There's none of them talking about how the fact that the brain's frontal lobe is being interfered with when there's drinking going on means that the drinking age should not be lowered. Now, I did not highlight this part here, the one that says, while many young adults think it is okay. The reason being that this is an attempted counterclaim, okay? So they have here this counterclaim, which I'm glad that they know what one is and that they've attempted to put one in. However, we do not need a counterclaim in this paragraph. Okay, so this is not something that we're going to be needing in this particular paragraph. We will get to counterclaims later, so if you do know about them, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But just know it is not something right now that we are necessarily going to be including in these particular paragraphs. Okay, so they've got a good idea. They just need a little bit of tweaking and everything will come out fine. All right, we'll look at the next one. Do you think the drinking age should be lowered? I think that the drinking age shouldn't be lowered because teens don't know how to drink responsibly at their age, thus are more likely to harm or even kill themselves and others. Underage teens tend to go out to drink and drive, which causes them to get into a serious car crash, which can also kill the other driver, or the person next to them can get hurt badly. Teens who fall into depression also tend to drink to numb their pain. The more they drink, they'll hurt themselves more. Honestly, in my opinion, the drinking age should not be lowered because of these reasons. And I did it now, but if you notice it says should not and should. So we definitely want to make sure, this could have just been, a very simple oversight when somebody was writing, but we just want to make sure that your link and your point are saying the same thing. And this is something that that people pick up on really quickly, so it's something that you could always pass a paper to a friend and just say, can you read it over real quick? And this would be something that they'll pick up immediately. All right, the question at the beginning here. Do not ask the prompt, all right? You never ever need to ask the prompt. It weakens your argument. There's no need to put it in there. All right, so you never ask the prompt. As the reader, I just need to know what your topic is and what you're talking about. I don't need to know what the question that you're answering is. As the writer, you need to know. So don't add it in. The other thing you never ever want to add in here is words like I think. Okay, you do not want to be saying I think or in my opinion. Once again, these are just phrases that will weaken your argument. It's much stronger to just state your opinion as a fact. At that point, it's this way or that's it. And it just gives you more credibility. So, if we start looking here at all the parts, so my point was yellow, make that yellow. So I've said, if they say, the drinking age shouldn't be lowered because teens do not know how to drink responsibly at their age. All right, what color did I make the example? The example is purple, their quote. Then we have the explanation in blue. And we have the link in green. So, a few things here. If we take out the I think, okay, the prompt is good with no I think. The quote is fine. The link, it's fine too, as long as they say should not and they take out in my opinion. Now, because of those reasons, that's something that you would probably want to be more clarifying about. You would want to restate your reason specifically instead of just saying because of these reasons. Their explanation is a bit of a problem in this paragraph. They've got a great start, okay? Because the idea that underage teens tend to drink and drive and get into terrible accidents can absolutely connect to and prove the idea that the drinking age should not be lowered. Same with teens fall into depression, drinking to numb their pain. That absolutely can tie into the point that is made that the drinking age shouldn't be lowered because teens don't know how to drink responsibly at their age. However, this person does not provide enough explanation. It's as if us as the readers are forced to bridge that gap ourselves, because we can look at what they've written in their explanation and go, yeah, that makes sense, that connects. And we can look at their point and go, okay, their point, okay, I can see that connection, but they did not lay that connection out for us. They did not put that connection on paper. As the reader, we should never ever have to make that connection. It is up to the writer to always make that connection for us. So here, for their explanation, we could say that it's a good start, but does not connect enough to the point. All right, and I think we're going to look at one more here. All right, so this last one here says that pit bulls should be banned because they are naturally born to be aggressive and bite. In the article, BSL Makes Communities Safer, it states there were 850 dog bites reported in 1996, 108 from pit bulls. As this states, there were many bites from pit bulls being reported in the year 1996. Pit bulls were put and trained to fight other dogs to win in dog fights since they were first discovered. Therefore, pit bulls should be banned for our sake. Now, I know this one's probably got a lot of people getting kind of triggered here. There's one all day, every class period, everybody's like, what? No. But this one's really interesting because the person who wrote it even put a note on the bottom that says, I don't actually believe this, but it was the best argument I could develop. And so I just want to stop for a minute here and say that that does sometimes happen. All right, there might be a topic that you're super passionate about, but with the articles that you are provided with or with the sources that you have, the stronger, more well-argued, more developed argument might be something that you don't necessarily agree with. And so then you have to come to the conclusion as, are you going to stick to the side that you're passionate about and have not as strong of a paragraph? Or are you going to write about the side that you have a stronger argument for, which will give you a stronger paragraph and most likely a stronger grade? I mean, like I say, it's something that it happens, it comes up. It's happened to me in the past too when I've been writing papers and things I've had to write about, and I have to make that decision about, is this a place where my opinion is important enough to stick to it, or is it somewhere where the grade that I would earn from a well-written paragraph is more important than the stance I'm taking on that subject. But that's just a little aside. Yeah, just something I wanted to mention. So, if we look here, all right, we've got our point. Pit bulls should be banned because they are born naturally aggressive and bite. Okay, good. Then we have our example. I think, yes, I did put the example as purple. In the article, blah, 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 bunch of pit bull bites. Then we get to the explanation, and finally, the link. So, their point. Their point is strong. Their point is there. All right, whether we agree with it or not, they've done everything they need to do to create that point. They have given us a stance, and they've given us a reason why. Their quote is strong as well. Okay, so they've told us where it came from. They have a quote that has statistics in it. That's fine. Their link is good. All right, telling us why they should be banned, and that it's, to keep us safe. Now, their explanation is actually really interesting here, and it's a common mistake that people make, and it's something I want to really, really draw your attention to. If you look, the quote says there were 850 dog bites reported in 1996, 108 of them from pit bulls. And so then we look here to the explanation. As this states, there were many bites from pit bulls being reported in the year 1996. Their explanation pretty much just repeats the quote. Okay, so the explanation repeats. This is not something you want to do. You do not want to repeat the quote. You would need to talk about how the fact that 108 of these bites in 1996 prove that pit bulls are naturally born to be aggressive and bite. If you look at the second sentence in the explanation, pit bulls were put and trained to fight other dogs to win in dog fights since they were first discovered. Well, here they've mentioned that pit bulls are naturally born aggressive, but then here they're talking about pit bulls being trained to fight to be aggressive. So there's a little bit of a contradiction in the explanation. So it contradicts the point. All right. Now, it could be that they were trying to talk about how pit bulls have strong jaws, or maybe something along those lines. But the fact remains, they did not put it in the explanation. They did not put it on the paper. And so as the reader, all we're left with is what's on the page. And reading this, we go, okay, well, you're kind of contradicting yourself here. So, might not necessarily believe what you're writing. You want to be very careful about not contradicting yourself, and you want to be so careful about not just repeating the quote. All right. This one here, there's one thing I want to draw your attention to in here. It says, the internet is making us stupid because the internet is reducing our ability to focus and change how our brains function. If they picked one of these ideas, either reducing our ability to focus or changed how our brain functions, everything would be fine. But right now they've got two separate ideas in their point. And so what would end up happening was every single thing in their paragraph would then have to come back and prove and connect to both ideas within this point. So everything that they say, every quote they use, everything would have to come back and talk about how it not only reduces our ability to focus, but it also changes how our brain functions. So it'd be better as two separate paragraphs. So that's something to be very aware of. I think that's all I'm going to go over here. If it doesn't make sense, or if there's anything you need me to clarify, please let me know. You can email me. You can put a comment on Google Classroom. And what's going to happen next week is everybody's going to get the paragraph that they wrote back with comments from me, and they're going to have these examples here that we did in class. We didn't finish all of them in class, but they'll get this back, and you will be able to look at what other people have done and we talked about, and you'll be able to look at what you did, and then you're going to have a chance to reflect on your own paragraph, look at what needs to be fixed and corrected, and then you'll have a chance to fix and correct your own paragraph for the final draft. So I think that's it for today. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Hope everybody stays safe, and hopefully all of you who are out will be back soon, and I look forward to seeing y'all.